Well, gratitude and appreciation, it has to go into everything that touches money. Because if you're not in gratitude and thankful for what you have, the universe isn't going to give you more. Especially in a business, you're going to come into times that are hard, leaner harvest times, so to speak. And if you don't have the anchor in the good things, it can really overcome you. And you'll do things like just close down your business because of something that happened in the world, like my mother did.
I'm Kandas and This is Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women solopreneurs weaving appreciation and gratitude into your business strategy. This is the fourth installment in our Momentum series, exploring what momentum actually feels like, where it can take you, and what happens when growth brings unexpected opportunity for female founders. Today's guest created her business to help women business owners understand their money and make smart decisions. She is the founder of Abundantia Advisory, Megan Munsell.
I'm glad to be here.
I need to know the origin of the name of your company.
Abundantia is the minor Roman goddess of abundance and wealth. You may have recognized her on the Trevi Fountain. Her Greek counterpart is Fortuna, which would have been easier to pronounce. But I was trying to be a smart marketer and have my firm name start with an A. Athena was already trademarked. Abundantia starts with an A, and I didn't realize that nobody would be able to pronounce it.
You can see the word abundant in the name, though. So I knew that it had to do with abundance, and I thought, oh, what a brilliant name for a CPA. But I was like, how do you say it?
Yeah, it's like Abundantia. It's Italian / Latin. She's the one who bestowed the harvest upon the people, her cornucopia of wheat and coins. And so that's the namesake of my firm.
So she's a good goddess to be plugged into.
Yes.
I'm going to have to do a little research on her. All right. So what would you like the listeners to know about you?
I am just your ordinary, everyday girl. I'm just a girl running a firm, helping other girls save money. And what's really interesting about how I approach life is I'm not like a boring CPA. All of us are used to who we've went to, traditionally the finance bros, etc. I'm a very spiritual person. I read tarot. I love astrology. I'm actually an ordained minister in the metaphysics ministry. And on top of all of that, I have all of this knowledge on how to run a profitable business. So when my clients come to me, we're looking at more of a holistic type of business rather than, here's just your tax forms.
Yeah, we don't want to just do our tax forms because there's so many intricacies that go into making sure that your tax forms are maximizing your deductions. But
everything's a deduction until you're audited.
If you deduct correctly, the audit won't matter, right?
Correct. You don't be afraid of an audit. I mean, as long as whatever you've done is legal, only be afraid if you've done something naughty.
Exactly. Tell us a story about how you started your business.
So I grew up the daughter of an entrepreneur who was the daughter of entrepreneurs. And during the 80s and 90s, my mother ran a wholesaling business, and they actually had a small manufacturing facility in our backyard in rural Michigan. And, after the September 11th attacks in 2001, my mom closed that business down. I just went away to college. Seeing her run a female-founded firm, she never really had people around her giving her advice. Nobody told her about licensing. And other than just filing her taxes, she only saw an accountant once a year. Nobody taught her the art of money. And had she had somebody show her how business ran, our family legacy would be a lot different than it is. She just closed the business down and lives off my late father's pension. But our family footprint would be a lot different had she had access to that. I went to college for business / accounting. with the intent originally to help her grow the business. But of course, she closed that down before I was out of college. So went into public accounting and then into corporate. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I realized I was feral and unemployable and I would never want to go back to an office again. And so I took advantage of the situations that I found myself in and started my firm in late 2022, early 2023.
Feral and unemployable describes every woman I love.
It describes every Gen X / elder millennial. I don't even know. I don't know what I am. I'm in that weird spot where I'm not really a millennial, but I'm not really Gen X, but I identify more as Gen X. I have a theory.
I call that Gen X adjacent. And Gen X
Yeah.
adjacent can go 10 years either way.
Yeah. I look at it like I'm the youngest of my siblings by about 10 years. So I consider myself more Gen X because I grew up around more Gen X people, where I have people who are my age who are the oldest of their siblings, and you can tell a big difference. They're more millennial.
I was born in 1970. I am as Gen X can get.
I was going to say my husband. That's the same year my husband was born.
You can't get any more Gen X than me.
I know. He's, he plays Dungeons and Dragons. He, drives a Mustang. I'm like, it's very Gen X coded.
My daughter has a group of internet friends, and they're all very close. It's the world is so different now, but her internet friends are all over the world, and they play D&D together on the internet. Like every Friday night, they all get together, and it's all women playing the game. And their dungeon master lives in Australia. And I just why didn't I ever learn how to play D&D? Why didn't I learn?
You got to take your Gen X part. I don't know how to play it. Because I spend so much of my time during the day strategizing. Like my leisure time is spent being dumb.
Yeah.
And he does more traditional manual labor, so he really craves that mental stimulation with the gaming.
D&D is a very intellectual game.
I don't understand. I'm a capitalist, which is probably I probably need to go to therapy on that. But I'm like, this is the skill of law. Why don't you guys just do moot court so that you can then pass the bar and monetize the skill you have? Because to memorize all of these rules and all of these systems and interact with each other in the correct way, that's the skill of law.
Yeah. But then it wouldn't be any fun.
Yes, it would. Have you ever watched a legal drama?
I have. And I took a law class in college, and I did enjoy writing briefs, which is it's probably a sentence that no woman has ever said before. But
I'm pretty sure I probably have some clients that would love to hire you on a contract basis to do that for them.
But that would require reading those legal documents. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the way that I relax is I play sci-fi video games, video games, because I'm the same as you. Throughout the day, I'm strategizing, and I need something that just makes my brain go, okay, no thinking involved. But what's nice about playing a sci-fi game, is that you're playing it with other sci-fi people, and you can have conversations that are just a little more intellectual than if you were playing a shoot-up game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about I think it's really interesting, these conversations flowing into, what we do, because it's the human element has been lost so much in the business that the corporate life. And I think that's why we're seeing such a huge exodus into self-employment, because people, especially in the age of AI, are really focused on exploring humanity and who they are, and the questions on who am I and what is my purpose are even more important now more than ever.
Speaking of what is my purpose, how do you weave gratitude and appreciation into your business strategy?
Well, gratitude and appreciation, it has to go into everything that touches money. Because if you're not in gratitude, and thankful for what you have, the universe isn't going to give you more. Especially in a business, you're going to come into times that are hard, leaner harvest times, so to speak. And if you don't have the anchor in the good things, it can really overcome you. And you'll do things like just close down your business because of something that happened in the world, like my mother did. So staying in gratitude is not only important for me as a business owner in my own practice, but it's also important to remind my clients to stay in gratitude as well.
I've really been focusing on the appreciation portion of that question for myself lately, because appreciation also means growth. And I want to be growing, so I want to be appreciating. And that
Yeah.
change, because this is the Gratitude Geek podcast, and it's been called that for 15 years now, right? So nearly 15 years now. I'm not going to change the name of my show, but I can just tweak the way I think to focus more on the appreciation and the abundance. I mean, abundance and appreciation also go hand in hand, because the more you appreciate, the more you have to appreciate, and that is abundance.
Yes, and you have to appreciate your team members. My bookkeeper, I realized, yesterday when I was able to review 10 to 15 sets of books, and I was kind of dreading it because I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of work to do today, but I just had to review and tweak a couple things she did, and having her on the team has really, really helped me grow, and so I appreciate her. On the other hand, I've had to let go of some team members who were more about what does your business give me than how can I help you grow? And those have been situations where I have to appreciate myself and be okay with letting somebody go because they're, not
Yeah.
fitting in. So it goes both ways.
There is a huge difference between working for a publicly traded company and working for a small business. And a lot of folks don't understand the balance. When you're part of a small business, corporations say it all the time. We're a family here. We're a family. No, you're not. I've worked for corporations.
No.
Once you leave, they forget you existed, right? But when you have a small business, we closed our company about 8 years ago. We closed our company 8 years ago, and we are still in contact with the people that we cared about who worked for us. Right? They'll never not be part of our family. But when was the last time I talked to somebody who I worked with in corporate America? I can't even name it. Can't even name it.
No. It's because they squeeze every ounce of your soul out of you. So that there's no room left. You don't have a life. Sometimes I joke on my harder days. I mean, this would be so much easier if I just worked for a corporate company because I would just, log off for the rest of the day and whatever didn't get done. Oh, well. But I wouldn't go back now for the world because I'm feral and unemployable. And now this will be out in the interwebs and
Yeah. I think that one of the reasons why Threads is the only social media platform that I still actually engage in is because it is feral. And it's just, feral is the way it is. It needs to be. I mean, I am so sick of everybody looking the same, thinking the same, and wanting everybody else to look and think the same way they do. We are all unique people, and we need to be feral about it. So, all right, we keep getting off track, woman. Define what momentum looks like for your type of business.
So momentum for me looks like helping other business owners make more money, because the more good-hearted small business owners, those types of individuals are making more money, that's when we're going to start to see the collective shifts in policy change and how people are treated, etc. So the momentum isn't necessarily in the growth of my own business. It's in helping these other micro and small businesses grows so that that compounds like the ripple effect. And in doing so, of course, then my firm gains momentum because as I become known for this, then more people come and so on and so forth.
Was there a pivotal moment that you knew, oh, I've hit it, I'm in momentum?
And it's been more recently, which is really ironic because I haven't been doing a ton of onboarding and I haven't really been marketing for open slots. But I'm in a point where there's a lot of passion projects and different things that I've been doing in the background, and it's that tension where you don't really see it coming together, but like there's this deep inner knowing that things are going to change in the best way that you just can't describe. So I'm really going through a period of that right now. And before you get to those points, what people don't realize is there's always going to be some shedding of the old. So you're going to lose some of the relationships you thought defined you. You're going to have some things happen that don't look the way that you envisioned them in your perfect life. I have a 16-year-old child. He's the best thing that ever happened to me, but he's away at boarding school because he has the learning disabilities and different things that I don't have the skill set to help him with. And through serving other people and helping them be more profitable, I am blessed enough to be able to afford to give him those opportunities. And in return, I have time returned back to me that I can pour into all of these things. Not only watch him grow, watch the businesses grow, but I grow as well. So that's just the ripple effect of something that I resisted for many, many years.
I hate using this analogy because they're to me, they're creepy, but in order for a snake to grow, it has to shed its skin. So that when you said that, it was a good analogy, but
Yeah,
it's still creepy to me.
I know, and that's where people get stuck and they stop growing because they're holding on so firm. I think the analogy that's always been used with me, I can't remember who told it to me at first, is if you take in your hand, you take some sand and you just gently cup your hand, you hold it. But if you ball that fist, all of the sand just starts pouring out. So that's kind of, if you're gripping something, you're going to end up with less.
Okay, so is there anything that surprised you about momentum?
Social media will have you to believe that momentum is every month you're going to hit a new sales goal. In my business, that can happen because the nature of accounting firms is you get people on a monthly retainer. They stay on average 5 years or so with their accountant. And so for me, it'd be easy, to see that growth month over month. But for a lot of people, especially if you're selling coaching and digital products and widgets and all of those things, your momentum isn't going to look like a straight line up. It's going to be up and down and up and down. And what you need to do is you have to take a step back out of the details and look historically at how your performance has changed over time.
The economic downturn happened in 2008, and we were in the custom furniture business. So what we did in 2008, it was we pivoted hard because we stopped receiving wholesale orders. We had retail stores all over the country that were selling our furniture, and they stopped ordering in 2008. And so we doubled down on direct-to-consumer, but what we did was we targeted who we knew would still be able to afford custom-made furniture. And so we tripled our prices because there is a perception that the higher the price, the better the quality. Our quality never changed. We were always very high quality. We were marketing wholesale, so we wanted to provide a wholesale. Anyway, I'm making this very short story too long. Long story short, 2009 was our best year ever in terms of profit. We did about $100,000 less in gross, but our net income was the highest we'd ever had.
I just had this conversation with a client that they're a direct to consumer company that sells, let's just call it a food product. I don't want to accidentally say their name. And they sell things in monthly memberships, but then they also have a quarterly membership. And what I showed them in their analysis was that they thought their growth would be in that monthly, and really their growth is in that quarterly. And really they need to raise their price. And in just doing those couple of things, they don't even have to shift the amount of product that is being provided to the customer, but they're going to cut their fulfillment costs and actually get more revenue with less push needed.
And it really is amazing how little that increase needs to be to make a huge difference.
Yeah, we're talking like $4 or $5 a month or a quarter. And I even showed them the numbers of what percentage of people could cancel, and they would still get the same as they're getting today. And it was double-digit percentages.
What shocked me about I recently got a Costco membership because the Costco opened up locally, and I've always been a fan of the Costco business model, but what shocked me was when I discovered that Costco makes all of their money on their memberships, which is why they can afford to only do a 15% markup on their product. Like those recurring memberships pay for all of their overhead, all of their expenses, and the product sales are just the thing that gets the people in the door.
And the $1.50 hot dogs.
Yeah, the $1.50 hot dog. The reason why the hot dogs can be $1.50 is because they make them themselves. They manufacture the hot dogs themselves. But when you really look at the numbers, if you look at your company's numbers, you can figure those things out.
Mhm.
And how many people don't? That's your job, right?
I can only pour into your business to the extent that you're pouring into your business. You cannot just hire me and I look at your numbers and I can't fix your business. I can only tell you what the numbers are saying. You have to do that work. I have clients that I write them tax plans that will save them multiple six figures on taxes. I cannot go to their house and make them do the things that they have to do to implement those plans.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah. And the you have to do it is the hardest part.
There are some things I can do, but there are certain things that I just cannot do for you.
Now that you've reached momentum, is it taking you where you thought it was going to take you?
I do see that my business is going to go in two very unique, similar, yet different directions. And let me explain that. I will always have the accounting firm with the tax services and stuff. But on the other hand, I'm learning so much about small business, and I'm learning how to apply all of my years of corporate experience in Fortune 50 to small businesses. So I'm able to also do consulting and business coaching in group settings and also, one-on-one. So I'm not just a CPA. If you just want me to be a CPA, I can play that role, but I can also be an advisor, and I do sell-side advisory for people getting ready to sell their businesses. I help my current clients evaluate the risks and rewards of investing in businesses. And when I first started this, I thought I was just going to be doing QuickBooks bookkeeping and filing taxes.
That actually is a really interesting pivot. Not a pivot, it's just a extension. And it's a good extension. What we can learn from the person who understands how to read our numbers is so much greater than the person who says, oh, you need to advertise on Facebook.
Girl, I had this client, bless her heart. She was paying a money coach like $900 a month. I have thoughts about money coaches. If you're not a licensed professional, I do not think you should be a money coach. That is my hot take that will get me canceled on social media. But this money coach told her to fire me and her attorney in order to continue paying her because she couldn't afford both. And I told this particular client, we can downgrade your package to the done with you where you're doing your own bookkeeping, but you can come to my office hours, or we can go to just, I file your taxes. Whatever's best for you. But that is irresponsible to tell somebody to fire their accountant and their lawyer. Those are the
Yeah.
two arguably most important people that they're paying.
The money coach will get fired first.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. I haven't filed my own taxes since 1998 because I don't have the skill set to do that.
When I became an accountant, I didn't think I was going to do taxes. I thought I was going to help my mom run a business. And I got married young at 21. We could do a whole other podcast on my crazy life in my 20s. But I was married to this older gentleman who had a bunch of rental property. And we had to pay a CPA like $4,500 to do our taxes back in the early 2000s. He sat me down and he said, I didn't pay off your student loans to have to pay $4,500 to file my taxes. You're going to learn how to file that. Yeah. And there was a red flag. However, it's one of those things looking back. I know how to do taxes for real estate investors backwards and forwards because I've been doing it for 25 years because I'm a real estate investor. So it's one of those things. At the time, I was really irritated, but looking back, it was a blessing in disguise.
All right, so let's talk about your business. We've answered all the momentum questions. We know that you're about to embark on something new but adjacent. What's exciting? What are you most excited about?
I wrote a book called The Aligned Entrepreneur's Guide to Tarot.
Oh, okay.
And it is going to be a business book. It's a business book. And it's going to be, I'm claiming it, it's going to be the first list-making business book that's based on tarot.
When is it going to publish?
It's going to publish in August of 2027 because my astrologer said that's when Jupiter crosses my ascendant. I love astrology. It's one of my hyperfixations that I don't have enough time to focus on. But that is when the timing is right. And I will send you, I built it, a custom app experience for the presale where people, before they pre-order the book, they can go through a journey of finding out what queen of the tarot they are, plus have a few sample readings and just things of that nature. And once they pre-order the book, they can unlock tarot card pull capabilities and just different experiences, a fool's journey activation, and a bunch of really cool interactive things that'll be free for those who pre-order.
How fun. I can think of 6 people right now that I want to tell this story.
Before I got on this, I was actually working on my master's thesis, which is talking about tarot through the means of self-development. Just working on the academic portion, the academic version of my body of work, where my actual book was written for the lay person.
I own 2 tarot decks, and I haven't opened either of them in years, many, many years. And my daughter recently mentioned something about it, and I was like, I've got decks somewhere. Now I'm going to actually go look for them.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And, with it is going to come a body of work where business coaches can learn how to use tarot with their business coaching clients to lead them through their own creativity and ensure that they're not giving their power away they're just little cardboard slips of paper with pretty pictures on them. There's nothing special. They're just there to unlock your creative genius.
So this is a very woo topic, and I like to tell people that I'm not woo-woo, but I'm partially woo.
I'm woo adjacent. I'm not.
Woo adjacent is so good.
Yeah. I had my little witchy phase during COVID, but it never really felt authentic to me, I guess, because I grew up in such a religious background. And so when I found metaphysics and Christian Gnosticism and Hermeticism, that's when I was like, okay, yes, this is where the journey was taking me. It was to A Course in Miracles, into, the books of Enoch and just different things like that.
Learning about Christian Gnosticism is really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really fascinating. And I highly recommend doing your own research, listener, if you're going, what the heck are they talking about? Because it's always interesting to learn ideas?
So what I would start with is how I came to A Course in Miracles is I went to a healer in San Diego, and he was in a bookstore, and I was just like, what book do I need? He gave me Disappearance of the Universe. And Disappearance of the Universe is written by, I think his name is Gary Renard or Gary Reed. One of the two. I think it might be Gary Renard. And basically it's a channeled book. Whether you believe in if it was channeled or not, that's up for debate. But it introduces A Course in Miracles without you having to get that very intellectual heavy book and try to figure out what it says itself. So that's a really good starter. And then from there, the Book of Thomas, the books of Enoch, those are all really great places to get started.
It is Gary Renard, and there will be a link to that book in the show notes.
Yeah, and then there's, for those who are more into metaphysics, the University of Metaphysics in Sedona. I am currently pursuing a doctorate in metaphysics through that organization. It's a religious organization, but their curriculum is very accessible, and if you come from a Christian background, you're going to appreciate that it's not like witchcraft and occult. It's very practical and centered in Christ consciousness.
I'm always so intrigued when someone who has a background like yours in accounting pulls out the metaphysical. because you don't think they really go hand in hand, but
They do.
But
They do.
who you are as a person doesn't always reflect what you do as work.
Well, let me find the paragraph that I wrote in my master's thesis, and this will be like the first time anybody's ever heard this. I haven't even had my writing coach read this.
Which means it's exactly the way it needs to be.
Yes. When I tell people I read tarot, I am rarely met with neutrality. The responses oscillate between horror and fascination, especially once people realize my professional background is in accounting. As a certified public accountant, I am trained to value evidence, structure, documentation, ethics, and careful interpretation of perceived facts. Tarot, on the other hand, is far more abstract and is associated with intuition and the unknown. At a first glance, the two worlds I live in seem incompatible. However, the tension between these two worlds is precisely what makes them worth exploring. Both tarot and accounting require interpretation, involve symbols, and can be misused when authority is misplaced. More importantly, both raise important questions about judgment, responsibility, and discernment.
Quantum physics. We need to call it quantum physics because that is a more approachable term for most people. When you say metaphysical, people automatically go, ew. But when you say quantum physics, which they are the same thing, it's just a different term for the energy that moves through all of us, right?
Yeah, and in the literature review, what was really interesting is I took the metaphysical minister in his curriculum that I'm defending in the thesis, a psychic witch, Matt Oren. He has a body of amazing work on psychic development, and one of his latest books is The Psychic Tarot. And then the story in Samuel of the Bible of the witch in Endor, where Saul goes to see, I believe it's Saul, goes to see a witch because his communication with the divine had broken down, and he went to see the witch out of fear. And that particular story in the Bible is used to show that witchcraft, mediumship, etc. is bad. But what's bad is not that it exists. It's that people give up their power and go to it instead of God for guidance.
Interesting.
So like I could do like I don't know why I'm doing accounting. I don't know why I'm doing it because it pays the bills.
There is a reason. There's always a reason. Okay, I understand you have a free gift for the audience.
Yes, I have, because I know that if I give you some tax thing, you'd be like, boring. I have a 10-day money mindset activation. I will send it to you with the coupon code where your audience can get it for free. You could do it at your time. I'm not really good at multi-day challenges showing up every day. So it's set up to drip out once you join it over the course of 10 days.
And that link will be in the show notes along with the coupon code. Make sure you take advantage of the coupon code.
It goes with the Course in Miracles. So it's, changing your relationship with money. And I will say, when I did, there's a part of the challenge that when we did it live here in Nashville, there was a lady, it benefited her by like $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that it's going to happen for you, and I don't want to spoil the surprise. But yeah, I like to make things practical and, how do they relate to me? And,
Money mindset is one of those things that is just so hard because our money mindset starts when we are born because we inherit it from our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents.
I see it in
And
my.
so changing it is the hardest thing that we can do.
Yeah, and I see in my business, how I approach my business, a lot of how my mom approached her business. She did a lot of the work herself. And one of the things that I've really struggled with is delegation. And as much as I have a challenging relationship with my mother, sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm turning into my mother. Because I work so much, but can't think of anything I would rather be doing.
My grandfather had two grandmothers. Their names were Angelina Largomasino and Catherine Roberts. Those are their maiden names. And both of those women ended up losing their husbands and having to start businesses in the late 1800s. So both of these women owned their own businesses. One of them owned a grocery store and the other one owned a saloon, right? And that was my grandfather's grandmothers. And if I had known that I had women who owned businesses in my ancestry when I was 12, I think I would have grown up differently.
Well, I had a great grandma that was very interesting. I mean, she owned some lakes and stuff in northern Michigan. But when her husband died, she sent her kids to an orphanage because she didn't want to get remarried. And so then she worked, she saved up the money, got the kids back out of the orphanage, and then I don't know what kind of business she ran, but she ran some kind of business. And when she ended up getting remarried, she made the guy change his last name because she didn't like it.
I love it. I love it. And we keep hearing these stories about our great-great-grandmothers who were so docile and they had to do everything that their husbands told them to do. That's not the reality. The reality is that men died and left women alone and women had to figure out how to do shit.
Yeah, it was like my grandmother had to raise her brother and her brothers and sister in an orphanage because her mom was like, I'm not getting married to a man. I'm going to go make us some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good for her for saying, I'm done with this. I'm going to figure this out. I mean, she had orphanages are not the same. It's horrible. The time in the orphanage is probably terrible, but she got them back. And her goal was to get them back the whole time. It wasn't like she was giving them up forever.
No, it was a different time. You didn't have daycare.
Yeah.
If you had 4 kids and you had no way to make money, if you had no village, you gave them to a church,
We cannot judge the actions of our ancestors based on today's belief systems.
Yeah, I was going to say back in 1940, there's no daycares.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah. My mother had to actually quit school because my grandmother owned a business and she didn't have anybody to take care of her 6 other children. So my mother had to quit school when she was 16 to take care of the 6 other children. So,
but you had to do it. I mean, I'm sure.
She went back and I'm so proud of her. I wish that I had done a better job of letting her know. But when I was in high school, my mother was working on her GED and she would come to the high school to do the work. And other kids would ask me, why is your mom here? Why did I see your mom here? And I was a little embarrassed, but I was really proud of her. I mean, because I was 16, which meant she was 46, right? She was 30 when I was born. So she was in her mid 40s and she was doing this. And, and the gumption of actually showing up at a high school when you're 46 to do high school work, and I really wish I'd done. I mean, my mom passed away 15 years ago, so I'll have a lot of regrets, but I wish that I had told her.
She knows. She knows now.
Yeah, I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
I'm sure she
Yeah,
does.
she knew even during the time. They know those things.
All right, Megan Munsell, this is your moment of gratitude. For whom or what are you most grateful?
I am very grateful for the organization that runs the boarding school that my son goes to, because they keep the program affordable and accessible, well, as far as those things go, and he is getting poured into and has in the last 4 months that he's been there, he's a totally different kid.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women solopreneurs weaving gratitude and appreciation into your business strategy. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Sololi. This has been episode 335, and I've been your host, Candace Rodarty. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.